So speaking of Houston Harden, this is something that ESPN beat writers have been kind of like the last few months. They've been kind of pushing this narrative that Harden's going to try to wants to go back to Houston next year. And apparently he spends a lot of time there. Obviously, he played there for a while, so I'm sure he has a home there still. But ESPN's Tim McMahon reported that the quote was, Houston believes it is a legit possibility that it's not coming out of thin air. James Harden still spends a lot of time in Houston, spends his summers in Houston, works out at the Rockets facility on a regular basis. It's a very real possibility that Harden will return to Houston. What do you make of this, Eric? Because we've heard this a few times over the last few months. Is this trying to leverage the Sixers to get more money from us? I mean, what is
it? Could be a leverage ploy. It could be coming from an agent. It should be coming from a lot of different directions. So do I think it should totally be dismissed? No, not necessarily. Do I think it could happen? It's called free agency. So he's free to do whatever he wants to do. So if that's the case, if that's what he wants to do in the back end of his career, so be it. I mean, you can't criticize a guy if that's what he wants to do, and being a free agent, that's what you're able to do. I don't think it's likely that he leaves the Sixers to go there. I don't think James, me personally, I don't think would want to go to a rebuild in free agency. I mean, I think maybe at the end of your career, you want to go and you live there and kind of finish your career there. I just don't see James at that point right now. That's just me. I don't see it. But it would not shock me if that's a decision he made, because I'm one that understands guys make their own decisions to do what's best for them. That's what free agency is.
Nothing would shock me about James's decisions anymore. There's one guy I could just be like, spin the wheel and see what happens. It's him.
Yeah.
So,
got it.
But it wouldn't make sense at this point because his move from Brooklyn was justified. I think we can all see that, right? He wanted to come here. He chose to come here. Apparently, the reports I keep reading said he really wanted to come here from Houston, but he couldn't because Fertitta wouldn't trade him. So he had to go to Brooklyn to get here, like a layover. And now that he's here, it would be weird for him to be like, no, I want Houston again. It's like, man, what? It would just sound weird.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you just can't.
Unless there was a major problem, unless
there
are reports that him and Embiid aren't getting along, or like they're losing a lot of games, then I could be like, okay, it ain't working. But if it's working,
I just think you can't really dive into it until you hear from the source, the real source. I think that's what we got to kind of be about, the real source.
And I believe the last time a couple months ago when this came out, I think Harden had the article that came out with the interview where he said this is the best chance he has ever had at winning was this team. That came out a few days later after the initial reports of him going back to Houston. So we can only take Harden at his word there that he obviously sees his team as legit title contender. Why would you want to leave that if that's true?
Yeah.
So, well, we have a few more months before we talk about the free agency stuff. So